Chapter 25. Hours later, Jeremy and Erin are seated in a booth of the checker-patterned establishment, familiar to Jeremy, but previously unexplored territory to his companion. Unlike the first time Jeremy had made his way here, there is nobody present aside from the cook and Alyson the waitress within its walls when they arrive. This is the same waitress he and Tyler had seen only a few days prior. This time, Jeremy doesn't try to blow off her interactions, but welcomes her conversations as a means to help keep him stimulated and awake. It is late into the night now, and Jeremy is starting to feel quite tired, as he isn't used to skipping a whole night's sleep as he did the previous night. It also doesn't seem to be helping him that thinking about not sleeping is constantly making him want to lay his head down and doze off for a while. Alyson walks back to the booth with a slice of pie for both Jeremy and Erin, as well as a steaming, clear glass pot of coffee to freshen up their near-empty mugs. Mugs that have visibly cooled down from the last time Alyson had made her way over to them. "Here you go, Hans. Another slice for each of you," Alyson announces as she places a fresh slice of warm cherry pie before each of them. Cherry goo oozes from between the two firm crusts. Normally this would have both of their salivatory glands secreting insanely, but as they have both been trying to pile on the carbohydrates and caffeine to keep awake, the sight of these delicious desserts is making their stomachs turn. "You two must be having some date. You've been here for almost 4 hours. Alyson continues as she looks up at the clock, which shows it being 12 minutes until midnight. "It's almost closing time," she goes on as she fills up their mugs. "Oh no," Erin says, looking up at her. "We were hoping to hear more about your little boy." Alyson has been sharing stories about her son for a good chunk of the 4 hours Jeremy and Erin had been there. Through their dinners and multiple desserts, Alyson's anecdotes about her son have put a smile across Erin's face and kept Jeremy's eyes from closing and his head from dropping. "Well," Alyson responds, "that little boy's the reason I have to be getting out of here soon." She smiles and stands back to watch the two take a bite of their pies. "I can't have the sitter taking care of him the whole night now, can I?" Jeremy uneasily takes another small bite of his slice, his hands jittery from all the caffeine coursing through his body. His hand noticeably shaking, reaches for his mug, grabs it firm, and places it to his lips. Burning sensations fill his lips and mouth, but he takes it down through the pain. "Don't you think you've had enough, kid?" Alyson asks with concern in her eyes. "I don't know how many times I've filled that thing up for you today, but that much coffee can't be good for someone your age." Jeremy looks across the table at Erin, who in turn looks up at Alyson. Don't worry about him," Erin assures Alyson. "He's just nervous to be out with someone as beautiful as me." She smiles at Alyson, who laughs as she begins to walk away toward the register to add up the total for their bill. "She brings up a good point, Jeremy. Are you feeling okay?" Erin asks. "I mean, if you have too much caffeine, don't you crash or something?" She continues. "That might be something we need to watch out for." She reaches out and gently pulls his mug away from him. Jeremy then reaches over and takes it back without looking up at her face. Pulling it in close, he covers it with his arms as if to protect it from the dangerous hands of Erin's possession. "No, that's sugar," Jeremy answers back. "Sugar causes a crash. That's why I've been drinking it black," Jeremy says with false confidence as he takes another drink. "It's disgusting, but it's working," he continues, followed by another gulp. "Every time I get tired, I take a couple of drinks, and a few minutes later, I feel fine." He takes another drink, closes his eyes for a second, and releases a heavy breath. "It's so hot," he whispers loudly, while trying to suck in cool air to put out the fire in his mouth. "I'm pretty sure caffeine causes a crash too," Erin informs Jeremy, as she once again gains control over his coffee and pulls it away from his grasp. Jeremy's vicious stare is interrupted as Erin looks over at Alyson, fiddling with the calculator, and then back at him. "They're going to ask us to leave soon. What do we do then?" she asks. "Already thought it out," Jimmy replies as his anger begins to subside due to exhaustion. We will stop by a gas station when we leave here and pick up some energy drinks or something, he continues on. Then we'll head over to my house, make some of my mom's coffee, throw it in a big thermos, and just keep walking around. Letting out a devastating yawn, he goes on. This sitting around is killing me. Slapping himself mildly in the face a couple of times as he finishes. Erin nods in agreement as Alyson arrives with their bill. Here you go, she says, laying the bill on the table. She looks back at the cook, who is not paying attention, and whispers to them ever so quietly. I didn't charge you for those last 2 slices, because you two just make such a cute couple. She smiles and winks over at Jeremy. Jeremy smiles back at her as he reaches into his front left side pocket and pulls out a $20 bill, 2 $5 bills, and a few $1 bills. After uncrinkling and straightening every bill, he holds the money up to Alyson in a single neat stack. Taking the money in her hands, Alyson begins her way to the register. As Alyson takes it up to the register, Jeremy and Erin finish their pie and last mug of coffee in a matter of seconds. As they approach the door to leave the diner, they hear Alyson call from behind. Hold on, she calls out to them. Don't forget your change. She holds up the 2 5s Jeremy had given her and a handful of coins and waves them around toward the ceiling as Jeremy and Erin arrive at the cusp of the doorway. No, you're all set, Jeremy calls back, and he and Erin continue onward through the door. You better watch yourself, girl. Alyson speaks toward Erin specifically as the bell above the door rings. I might try to steal that handsome devil away from you. She smiles and waves as Jeremy and Erin make their way through the doorway and into the cool night air. It takes a second for them to notice, but it's quite cold outside. However, the crisp breeze does wonders for somehow working its magic and revitalizing both of them. They head down the walkway and toward the sidewalk, turn to the right, and continue on into the starless night. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying the story and how it's going, please subscribe so you can get every chapter as it comes through. Discuss in the comments, plot threads, and where you think the story's going. Share with anybody you think might find it interesting. Until then, I'll see you next video.